Science and gender equality are both vital for the achievement of internationally agreed development goals, including the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Over the past decade, the international community has made a lot of effort in inspiring women and girls in science, yet they continue to be excluded from full participation, leading to a significant gender gap in female impact on science, technology, engineering, and technology. To close this gender gap, the United Nations declared February the 11th as the International Day of Women and Girls in Science. Well, joining me virtually now for an assessment of the level of the participation of women and girls in science and possibly remedies is the Chief of UNICEF Maiduguri office, Phuong Nguyen. Thank you for joining us on the news.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
First of all, let's help us understand how vital this role, science and gender equality, is to our achievement of the development goals, why it is important to have women and girls participate in science to achieving that.
Yes, thank you once again. And indeed, as you mentioned in your opening, that in order for us to really achieve those sustainable development goals that we have set for ourselves until 2030, we need a lot more mathematicians, scientists, technicians, engineers. We need, in fact, about 2.5 million of those types of career in order for us to achieve those goals in sub-Saharan Africa. Unfortunately, we right now are not seeing a lot of girls and women studying these areas of science, technology, engineering, and math. Women and girls are still very much saddled by the notion of by social norms, certainly by cultural expectations, and their roles are very limited. Science and technology is still seen as very much a male domain. We need to break down those stereotypes. I think they're very outdated, and they're very they lead to the inequality that we have been seeing for decades now. This is an opportunity for us. If we are to achieve those SDG goals, we need to have more girls studying at the high school level, at the secondary school level, in higher education. And we need more women also engaged to take on those roles as mathematicians, as engineers, as IT technologies. So this is something that UNICEF is very passionate about. We want to encourage girls' education, and particularly in those areas that I mentioned before, science,
right,
technology, engineer, and math. Yes.
But then the next question would be, how much of a difference do women make when they take up these roles?
Yes, for the development of any nation of the Northeast Nigeria, we need boys and girls, men and women working side by side. Mm-hmm. It is not a domain that is left to the boys and the men. I think girls and women, if you go to an internally displaced camp here in Northeast Nigeria, you'll see that the majority of those at the water point collecting water are actually girls and women. They know what their needs are. They have ideas on how they can improve the circumstances in which they live. And when it comes to water points, they also know when things break down, when the parts are breaking down. This is, to me, an example, a great opportunity for us to engage girls and women in the role of operational maintenance of water points. And for that, they should be encouraged and participate in the water committees. They know what they need. They have ideas on how they can improve on areas such as water and sanitation. Yeah. And we need to engage them, and we need to allow them the opportunities to study in these areas.
Right. Now, if we are to, break the stereotypes, where do we begin?
I think we need to begin with education in the household. We need to respect the girl child. We need to make sure that the girl child has equal opportunity as the boy child. We need to encourage them to let their imagination roam. We need to allow them to play, to experiment, and we need to respect the fact that they have equal rights and opportunities as a boy. And I think it starts in the household. It starts with how we treat our children in the house. I think at the school level, we also need to make sure that the teachers respect that boys and girls have differentiated needs, but they are able to come to the same table and offer the same the same qualifications, the same interest, the same engagement. And so I think it's at the house level, it's at the school level, and at the wider community, we need to engage community members to also break down stereotypes. What the girls should play with, what the boys should play with, what the girls should be studying in school, what the boys should be studying in school. We need to respect them as individuals who come to the table with all the opportunities and all the smarts and all the qualifications, and we need to give them opportunities to explore. And I think education is a strong channel for that. Breaking down social norms, I think, is also very important. I think if we start them at that young age, we can nurture their curiosity, we can nurture their sense of invention, and bring them up from young early childhood education to primary school, to secondary school, and certainly into higher education. If we're able to give that opportunity to all girls to compete at the same level as boys, I think we have a very strong start to promote them into these different areas of technologies, of science, chemistry, physics, and so forth. And I think we need both the girls and the boys, the men and the women, for us to develop as a society.
Right. And will all of this be able to bridge the gap that we are already witnessing, especially the gaps that we already see exist with regards to this issue?
Yes, I think, UNICEF has been working very closely with the government of Nigeria to break down some of these social stereotypes. We are getting more girls in school, and I think we are closing that gap. We still have a lot to do, certainly, and we work together with local communities and village leaders, community leaders, religious leaders. It is about breaking down stereotypes to afford these opportunities to the girls and the women in the communities. I think we are on track for that. We still have a ways to go until 2030, but I feel very strongly that UNICEF, with the support of the government and the partners and the communities, that we're getting there. And I think girls will be able to compete at the same level, and in the longer run, of course, gender equality and outcome for all will be in the future. And I'm very, very, very confident of that.
Right, and that's a fine place to leave the conversation. Phuong Nguyen, Chief of UNICEF's Maiduguri office, thank you so much for your time on the program.
Thank you very much.